Hello, everybody. So while everybody is rejoicing about the market being up, I'm reading the news this morning and I see that Janet Yellen made a statement saying that only uninsured deposits at banks deemed a systemic risk will be protected. And I think this is playing with fire. I think this is dangerous to say because on Monday, they pretty much said that every depositor in America was going to be protected by the FDIC up to the full amount, directly or indirectly. It's the impression that they sent to the market on Monday to avert the crisis. And today, Janet Yellen just made a different statement. And even though the markets are up and everybody's happy right now, I can see boardrooms of companies discussing this and saying, well, wait a minute. Is this really true? Is what happened on Monday really true? When you have statements like, say, only uninsured deposits at bank did systemic risk will be protected. Signals coming from Janet Yellen are important, right? She's the head of a secretary. And so my stance on this. If you've been watching my channel, you know that I believe everybody's protected. I believe the government just doesn't want the pain of a bank failure ever. And I think Monday proved that. Like, they went out of their way to do one of the biggest programs ever and to redeem losses on bonds at par, right? And exchange those bonds against margin at 100% at par of those treasuries that banks are down on. So that program was amazing. That's my stance. That's my belief. But I also know enough about economics and signaling theory to know that while it's credible commitment that matters more, like, right, what they did on Monday sends a much bigger signal to all companies out there than what they say. In the order of moving the markets and signaling, doing something carries 90% of the weight. And talking is cheap. Talking carries very little weight, but it does carry a little weight, though. And that's kind of a more modern stand of economics theory. Like, cheap talk can still burn money, especially when that talk comes from Secretary Yellen. And I think it's bad that she says only deposits at banks deemed systemic will be protected. But she says that today on Thursday, while Monday they sent a strong signal that everybody was safe. And I think this is concerning, especially if you have your money at a local non-systemic bank. Like, there are thousands in the USA. What if you bank with, I don't know, a local bank in your town somewhere in Kansas or something? In my view, this statement is likely to solidify the strong banks like JP Morgan, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, and Citigroup at the expense of regional banks and local banks, non-publicly traded banks. I think this type of statement is dangerous to make. It's opposite to what was sent on Monday. And so the big incentive here is if there is, if you have any doubt that any deposit above $250,000 will be saved if you are at a small local bank. If you have any doubt, why take the risk, right? Why take the risk? Like, game theory dictates that you need to be the first out. So why would you want to take the risk? I think about the people that had deposits at First Republic or at Silicon Valley Bank over the weekend, not knowing what was going to happen. That feeling must have been awful. So why take the risk? And I think sending signals like that hopefully people put more weight on what they did on Monday. Hopefully. But sending signals like that actually could trigger over bank runs. Like, with social media, you need to be very careful because these signals can be amplified, and that could trigger over bank runs saying, oh, well, wait a minute, who's going to say if I'm protected or not? Who is it going to be, right? Who's deeming? Who's going to deem a systemic risk my bank? Is my local bank a systemic risk? That goes back to the classic advice of if you have more than $250,000 on a bank account, which most companies are going to be in that situation. Companies should spread across multiple banks. But I fear that making statements like this is pushing more companies to solidify into the big banks. And so this is actually bullish for the big banks. And I don't think it's a positive for regional banks, even though right now every single regional bank is up. And it seems like like we're slowly accepting that a pivot is coming. At least my stance, and the market is getting more and more positive, and they can't keep pushing on this. But still, be careful about. We need to just be careful about these statements. This is not investment advice. This is just entertainment. Thanks for liking and subscribing. This was a very short update today. Thank you.